Good morning and welcome to the First Unitarian Fellowship of Nanaimo. Our mission is to create spiritual connection and bring compassion, discovery, and social justice to life. My name is Larry Bolt, and I'm honored to be your service leader today. My pronouns are him, he, him, and his. And I'd ask that you please take a moment to silence or turn off your cell phones, put them into kind of a worship mode. And as you maybe notice, we are on Zoom, so let's say hello to all those folks that are watching us on Zoom. Turn around to the back. You'll see the green frog on the wall and wave to that. Whatever your hopes, dreams, and aspirations, whatever your race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender identity, whatever makes you who you are warmly welcomed here. In keeping with our Unitarian Universalist aspiration of radical inclusion, we invite you to share your pronouns as well as your name when introducing yourself, if you are comfortable doing so. We are grateful for the diversity of voices on Sunday morning, and our services vary from week to week. Our service is between 60 and 75 minutes long. If this is your first time with us, a very special welcome to you. If you're joining us online, please consider sharing your contact information with us. You can share it with the host by going to the chat icon at the bottom of your screen. We'd love to welcome you to our community. We have a website, ufon.ca, ufon.ca, and invite you to check it out for more detailed information about who we are, the services we offer, and how you can connect with us. We acknowledge today that we meet on the traditional territory of the Nanaimo First Nation. As Unitarians, we are committed to the work of reconciliation required to address the harm done to all Indigenous peoples and their cultures by non-Indigenous peoples. We have much to learn from the Indigenous perspective, including that the earth is a source of all life and that our responsibility is to honor and care for it. We have a few announcements today. We're all excited to have a new minister joining us in a few months and are eager to meet her. I know I am. How about you guys? Yeah. We also want to ensure her transition to ministry with us is as smooth and stress-free as possible. So a transitions team has been made up of Tony Turner. Raise your hand, please, Tony. John Sawyer, he's got his hand up. And Debbie Goodman, yes. They're put together as a team to make this transition for her much, much easier and more comfortable. As part of that process, we're asking that you direct all requests to Reverend Ashley via the transitions team so that she isn't overwhelmed with emails. Please send your questions to the team at transitions@ufon.ca. Speaking of our new minister, I'd like to call Bob Goodman up to clarify what we need to do regarding the minister's office.
Larry stole a little bit of the wind out of my sails there. As most of you know, we've gone and done it. We've hired a new minister, Reverend Ashley Burzak, and she will be joining us at the end of November. It's been 3 years, but now the work begins. Those of you who have seen the minister's office know what I'm talking about. The minister's office is currently a storage room. Hiding behind the stuff in storage are walls in need of painting, and on the floor, a carpet in need of cleaning. I'm looking for volunteers who can be available in stages. Ideally, those who, the work will begin in October and finish in October. I think it'll be about a week's worth of work. We need some muscle for moving things, and then we need some finesse for painting. That will be prep work and painting. We need some patience in deconstructing the library and putting it back in order. And we'll need a person to help clean the carpeting, and then we'll need a few more people to move things back from storage and into new storage for some of the things and put the office back together again. It's also going to be the office and the library. So if you're willing to help me with any of these tasks, please let me know. Let's make this a warm and welcoming place for our new minister. So please lend a hand if you're able.
Which week is that, do you know?
I didn't hear what you said.
Which week would that be in October?
It's not specified. It's going to be dependent on volunteers. I want to probably get it done no later than the second week, but that's not imperative. We've got until the end of November.
Thank you, Bob. Next week, we have the annual general meeting of the First Unitarian Fellowship of Nanaimo and the Unitarian Foundation of Nanaimo. So you know the acronyms FUFON and UFON. That'll take place next Sunday, September 28th, after the service, starting at 12:30 p.m. Right here in the Fellowship Hall and on Zoom. Please note that all members and friends are welcome to attend, but only members in good standing are eligible to vote. The AGM package has been emailed to the Fellowship's distribution list, but if you have not received the AGM package, please contact Brenda P. at info@ufon.ca. And lastly, everyone is invited to stay after this service today when Reilly will lead a workshop using the Map to Deeper Joy, a tool specifically designed for UU communities in order to help the fellowship reflect and set some intentions for the year. So join us for what will be a thought-provoking and inspiring conversation. To find out about all special events, groups, and meetings taking place in the hall, you can go to the calendar on our website, read the weekly email sent out on Fridays, or check with the large whiteboards in the hall by the washrooms, which is just through that door over here. Now, let us enter into sacred time. Our music director, Leah Hokinson, will lead us into worship through music.
Good morning, everyone. Our prelude this morning is called We Belong. Tony Turner and I collaborated on this song. And so I'm inviting the fabulous Euphonics to join us up here. And so there's a chorus in the middle, and the words are, we belong. And so you're all invited to sing along with us when we get to the chorus. We
Well, I think that's just perfectly fills for their name today, the fabulous Foophonics. Most of you already know today's speaker, Reilly Yeo. Reilly's been a wonderful guiding light for these past couple of years, and we're grateful to have her back again this year. She lives in Victoria with her family and commutes to Nanaimo to be with us each time. So I'd like to turn it over to Reilly now.
So, welcome. As we approach the equinox and we celebrate with an equinox service today, I invite you to think about aligning with the natural rhythms of the earth on this day. Those rhythms think about balance, about the balance of growth and rest, the balance of action and stillness, the balance of light and dark. We're being invited by the world to try to find that equilibrium between polarities, like the polarities of agreement and disagreement, individual and collective, stability and change. Those are inevitably some of the essential questions about belonging, about life together in community. Our chalice lighting words today are adapted from a poem by Thomas Rhodes, and I'll invite Larry to light the chalice while I read them. For one precious instant, darkness and light exist in balanced proportion to one another. Let us give thanks as we light this chalice for those times in our lives when all seems in balance. For those times are rare and precious. The equinox will pass, the revelation may be forgotten, and our actions will not always reflect our true selves. But through our gratitude, we may remember who we are, reflect on who we may become, and restore the balance in our communities and in our lives. Now, please rise in body or spirit to join me in singing number 246 in Singing the Living Tradition, Come Sing a Song with Me.
Sing a song with me that I might know your mind.
going to wait till the lapel mic is on. And then I'm going to, thank you, invite Debbie and KJ and Catherine up to the podium for our Time for All Ages today. So this is called A Tale of Three Villages, and it's by Renee Ruchowski. There once were 3 travelers whose village was flooded. Together, they set out for higher ground to find a new home. As they journeyed, they reminisced on stories of their former home and their loved ones lost to the flood. As they crossed over mountains, they saw a sheltered, fertile valley beyond, with a cluster of 3 small villages. One said,
"This land looks a lot like home, but I'm a little bit nervous about meeting new people."
The second said,
We have become good friends. We know and trust each other, and we share tasks fairly.
the third said,
Let's ask good questions at each village to help us find a new home.
over their fire that night, they came up with 2 questions.
How does a village make decisions?
And
What happens when you don't agree?
when they entered the first village, the villagers told them, "We have a powerful ruler who decides what is best for our village. The ruler's family has been in charge for many generations. If we have a disagreement, the ruler decides for us." The travelers looked at each other with tight lips, then thanked the villagers and continued their journey. When they entered the second village, they asked,
How does your village make decisions?
the villagers responded, "We vote for a few people to represent all of us on a council. We vote for people who promise to make decisions that are the best for us." Then the travelers asked,
What happens when you don't agree with what the council decides?
"Sometimes we don't all like what they decide, but we have to do it." The travelers looked at each other with disappointed eyes and then said
Thank you. Goodbye.
to those villagers as well. As they trudged to the third village, they talked amongst themselves. One said,
That sounded good at first, but was it better than the village with a ruler?
another said,
Not really. Some people have a bigger say.
the third said,
After the others vote for them, the people on the council can do whatever they want.
In the third village, they soon found some villagers to ask about decision-making there. One villager smiled and said, "Come, we will show you." The villagers formed a large circle and invited the travelers to join them. One villager said, "We welcome you into our circle. If you would like to stay, you must accept our agreements. Speak the truth. Keep your promises. Honor and care for this circle as part of the earth and sky." The travelers looked at each other with shiny eyes and then agreed in unison. Another villager explained, "This is how we make important decisions, by listening to each in their turn under these agreements until the decision is made. This is also how we disagree, by listening to each in their turn. Sometimes we agree to disagree, but we disagree in respect and peace." The travelers smiled widely. They had found their new home. I hope that you'll join me now in singing our children's recessional song.
We hold you in our love as you grow. May your heart be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious life, we hold you in our hearts as you go. Nous vous enterrons d'amour maintenant et toujours. Que vos cœurs soient épais pour toujours.
As a spiritual community, it is our intention to be authentically present to one another, especially in these different times. One way we do this is by including in the service a time to listen to the significant personal milestones in our lives. If you have had such a milestone and wish to share it, now is the time to do so. Wow, I don't know what I did. We'll begin with those of you in the hall, and then we'll invite those attending on Zoom. When you come to the microphone, please introduce yourself with your full name. And for a little change, we put the pebbles up here so it's easier to find. As I place the final pebble in the water bowl for the joys and concerns that have been left unspoken, I ask that you hold in your heart everything that you have heard and felt.
We share in love, we listen in love, we hold one another in love. Each joy and concern we witness and learn, and grow together in love, and grow together in love.
I'll invite you to join me now to get ready for a time of meditation today. I can see you all preparing your bodies, which is lovely to see. Getting more adept with time at this practice. I'm going to start with a quote from the Silks Okanagan and Secwepemc matriarch Elaine Alec. Then we'll have a few minutes of silence, which Leo will transition us out of with some music. So Elaine Alec says, belonging isn't about agreement. It's about relationship. We can disagree and still choose care. We can feel tension and still stay connected. We can hurt and still move toward healing.
Please rise in body or in spirit, and we'll sing together, We Laugh, We Cry, hymn number 354.
So this summer, in addition to making all kinds of memories with my kids, I was also busy with getting up to speed as a new board member for an organization called Lead Now. So I joined the board of Lead Now in June. Some of you might know it. Lead Now first gained prominence during the 2015 federal election, which was 10 years ago for anyone who's keeping track, where they organized to get the Conservatives out of power and to secure electoral reform. Many lessons learned in hindsight from that. You may remember that our own Tony Turner's song, Harper Man, he's laughing, was a standard at Lead Now's rallies across the country during that year. We joked during the more recent election that Polyevra Man just didn't have quite the same ring to it. So just like every organization that does anything political right now, Lead Now is trying to adjust to the polycrisis, a word you've heard a lot if you've heard me speak before, that interlocking crisis of crises that really defines our time. The main two Lead Now campaigns right now are about housing affordability and Palestinian solidarity. So we're getting ready for these two really intensive days of strategic planning that we're going to have in October in Montreal. So we've been spending the summer working on these big questions, like huge questions about what Lead Now's position should be. So about immigration, about nationalism, about militarism, about Zionism, and about resistance. And part of the way that we've been doing this work is we've been reading these analyses, these briefs that the staff has produced on each of those issues. And then each member of the board and the staff fills out surveys with our opinion on the issues. But I have found that my thoughts have really been turning not so much to my answers to any of these particular questions, but to a bigger question about how we should orient ourselves when we're discussing these kind of highly charged, very contentious issues. So I've been thinking a lot about when we're discussing difficult topics with no easy answers, which often come with very, very big emotions attached, how should we do that? How should we have that discussion? So along with the polycrisis, that word you've probably heard me say too often now, there's another very big P word that defines our time, and that is polarization. So the division into opposing sides. So in 3 years, the number of Canadians who avoid expressing their political views because they fear reprisal went up 6 points. Now it's 38%. The number of Canadians who have stopped talking to a person on account of a disagreement related to federal politics went up 5 points in 3 years to 24%. So that's almost a quarter of people. What I found very concerning was that this number is significantly higher among young people in both the US and in Canada. So 35% of respondents aged 18 to 34 report that they have banished an acquaintance for a disagreement related to federal politics. There's a really interesting question there about eldering and mentoring on this issue of disagreement. How do we pass on some expectations around belonging and connection to the next generation of folks who are going to inherit our culture? So when the polling firm ECOS asked Canadians, what is your deepest fear for Canada's future? It wasn't the price of groceries, healthcare, housing, or even climate change that most often topped the list. Canadians' greatest fear about the future was growing political and ideological polarization. 68% of Canadians said that was their greatest concerns. That was more than reported greater concerns about the economy, decline of democracy, even another pandemic. Now, in some ways, I think that's actually a bit of a hopeful sign. It indicates that we recognize polarization is a problem. We don't want to be in a society that is so polarized and so divided. Maybe ironically, we're united in our desire to not be so divided. So bringing this back to Lead Now, and to Unitarian Universalism, at least now, we are grappling with the fact that some of the words that feel most important to use right now, like genocide, like apartheid, stir up some of the biggest emotions. And they might stir up emotions for you right now. So let's use worship and our sanctuary today as a space to just hold those emotions. So we're grappling with the fact that the big important questions, like what tactics and what language, are most likely to build a big, bold, progressive movement. Those questions do not have easy answers. Even within our small, progressive identified bubble, we don't agree. So as I said, instead of my answers to these questions, which of course I have, but I've been spending more time thinking about how would we set a framework for disagreement, a framework that would set us up to succeed in building rather than tearing down community. So earlier in my career, I worked at the Center for Dialogue at Simon Fraser University. We used this very simple tool highlighting the differences between dialogue and debate. So whereas debate assumes that there was one right answer, and of course you have it, dialogue assumes that everyone has a piece of the answer. In debate, you listen to find flaws. In dialogue, you listen to understand. Debate encourages a search for differences. Dialogue encourages a search for basic agreement or common ground. Debate creates a winner and a loser. Dialogue leaves the topic open for further discussion. Now, I think maybe this is the one I'm coming back to as the most important. Debate involves no focus on feelings, sometimes actively seeking to belittle or offend. Dialogue involves a real concern for the other. I think part of why I was so drawn to these guidelines, it's the same reason I was so drawn to Unitarian Universalism. The guidelines for dialogue respect two of our extremely important Unitarian Universalist principles. Principle 1, we affirm the worthiness and dignity of every human being. And principle 4, we covenant to affirm and promote the free and responsible search for truth and meaning. So initially I was planning for this reflection to focus on love. You may have noticed that in the blurb. Sometimes the reflection drifts a little further away from the blurb than I was intending. You always have to submit the blurb by the middle of the previous month. I see Debbie nodding. Sometimes you have a vague idea. That's not where you land. I was planning to focus on love. And love is probably still the subtext, as it is so often. But as I thought about it more, I think there's an even more critical issue at stake here. So we all probably have experiences of loving someone we disagree with. We probably have that cousin, that sibling, that uncle, that aunt, that grandparent, that grandchild whose perspective we disagree with, but we love them anyways. I think maybe a tougher question is, can we disagree and still trust each other? Now, before we tackle that big question together, I'm taking some inspiration from Debbie. So I'm going to pause my reflection here and let Leah lead us in a little group song before we continue.
Thank you, Reilly. This is a call and response. It's called In the Shelter of Each Other, and it's by Kim and Reggie Harris. We're going to sing the chorus together. So just follow me.
Should we stand up?
If you'd like to stand, please rise if you'd like to. In the shelter of each
So that song is taken from an Irish proverb, Ur Ska a Chéile Amhra na Dine. In the shelter of each other, the people live. It's meant to emphasize interdependence. People don't live as isolated individuals. They live as part of a collective. But in Irish, that word ska has an interesting double meaning. It means both shelter and shadow. So the proverb is both, in the shelter of each other, the people live, but also in the shadow of each other, the people live, which suggests this rich ambiguity. We live in each other's comforting protection, as well as with the potentially constricting aspects of our interconnectedness. So like that equinox reminds us, we live with that mix of dark and light. It's not surprising that proverb has such strong local resonance in Ireland, an island culture like ours is, with a history of needing neighborliness and mutual support in order to survive. So as I read for our meditation today, the Silks, Okanagan, and Secwepemc matriarch Elaine Alex says, belonging isn't about agreement. It's about relationship. We can disagree and still choose care. We can feel tension and still stay connected. We can hurt and still move toward healing. So in our UU communities, we set parameters and expectations for that process through our covenant. That's our version of a community agreement. In the Time for All Ages story today, their covenant was speak the truth, keep your promises, honor and care for this circle as part of earth and sky. At this fellowship, your covenant is written down as a covenant of right relations, which you can see in brief on the screen here. It's also on the wall behind the welcome table, if you want to read it again later on. I hope you'll stay after the service when we're going to spend some time talking about this covenant and its role in our community, as well as some of the other elements of community that we might decide need some attention in coming months. So we're going to have a discussion about our intentions for this year to be able to share those with Reverend Ashley Bursack when she comes in a couple months. So that shelter or shadow duality, it's like Debbie's centering of the concept of kintsugi from last week, embracing imperfection. None of us, newsflash, is a perfect person. None of us has a perfect practice. None of us has a perfect opinion. When we agree to stay at the table together, we're building that trust, which models the kind of citizenship I think we wish for here in Canada, and that we can all do our part to cultivate in coming years. So, Ur Ska a Chéile Amhra na Dine. In the shelter of each other, the people live. In the shadow of each other, the people live. Either way, it is with each other that we live. The isolated self is an illusion. The challenge is to weave the interdependent web so that we experience it mainly as a support rather than a restraint. So here we work through the challenges of the shadow so we can strengthen the shelter. Here we return to our covenant. We use it as the lighthouse that guides us through.
Okay, it's now time for our offering. Joan and Charla will now pass the baskets. For those of you with us for the first time, your presence is your contribution. Those online can go to our website and click the big blue button down at the bottom of your screen on the homepage to give. To help the wider community, half of all cash donations will be given to our charity of the month. This month's charity is the Nanaimo Unitarian Shelter. Since 2008, the shelter downstairs has operated now is operated by the Nanaimo Family Life Association, has served with as a temporary home for hundreds of adults struggling with poverty, including seniors, people with disabilities, low-wage workers, students, those suffering with mental illness, and people struggling with addictions. We provide a warm refuge, non-judgmental welcome, and hot meals for people experiencing homelessness. If you want your donation to go to the charity of the month, you need to make a note of that on your e-transfer or check. And for those who don't carry cash these days, we now accept your donations via debit or credit cards, and this can be done at our welcoming table at the back. See Brenda here, and she'll help you through that. Thank you for your support.
Together we share, and from this we live. May equinox bring you that sense of balance, that equilibrium within polarity. May we live in the shadow and shelter of each other with ever greater ease and trust. May we continue to weave an interdependent web of love, community, and covenant as we give and receive to each other for years to come. May it be so, and blessed be.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. We're nearing the end of our service. After we sing Carry the Flame, you have the opportunity to join a social group. There are breakout rooms available both online and in the hall for the next 30 minutes. If you want to join an online breakout room, stay online and the host will put you there. For those wanting to join the discussion, please stay where you are. And don't forget, Reilly is going to be leading a wonderful discussion here. I want to thank the many folks who have given their time and energy to make today's service so wonderful. The Sunday Services Committee, the audiovisual team, Leah Hokinson, the greeters and offering collectors, those at the welcoming table, the kitchen volunteers who come early and stay late for cleanup, those who brought food and flowers, and of course, the fabulous Fufonics. Our heartfelt gratitude to all of you. It's a lot of people that put this together, and so grateful. We'll now sing our final song, Carry the Flame. The words are on the wall in this corner and at the back, and our custom is to stand, hold hands, touch elbows as you are comfortable. I'll go in the front here.
Okay. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again.
you so much. It's a pleasure to work with you.